Hi, this is Frode and welcome back to Actualize Notes TV, where we will have fun exploring my favorite book this year. And a little perspective, I have read over 100 books this year. The book is The Tools by Phil Stutz and Barry Michels. The Tools. Subtitle: 5 tools to help you find courage, creativity, and willpower, and inspire you to live life in forward motion. Phil Stutz and Barry Michels have over 70 years of psychotherapy or psychiatry practice. I'm not exactly sure of the difference. And what they noticed was that changing our attitudes is not enough if we want to change our lives. What we need to do is to change our behaviors. More specifically, we need a tool. And a tool is a specific procedure you use at a specific time to conquer a specific problem. And the difference between an attitude and a tool is, with attitudes, we are pretty much stuck in our heads with our thinking. We can't, and with tools, we connect to something infinitely greater than ourselves, a world of limitless force. They call this realm the higher forces, but you can call it whatever you want. You can call it the universe, the infinity, the spiritual realm, or whatever. But it's basically that they say that we as individuals don't have really much power ourselves. But when we connect to something bigger than ourselves, the higher forces, it becomes extraordinary what we can do in this world and how we can affect those around us. I picked up this book after pretty much devouring everything that my number one hero, Brian Johnson, had done on the book, and also watching his 3 interviews that they did with the authors. I have just written a note where I riff on more of the big ideas than these 5 tools, and you can check out the link in the first line of the description if you want to see the note to gain access. For now, let's focus on the 5 tools, each to conquer its specific own problems. I will only walk you through each of them very quickly right now, and you'll need to get the book for more, which I highly encourage you to do, by the way, even if you just read 1 book this year. First big idea: reversal of desire. So Phil and Barry talk about the comfort zone. The comfort zone is this area where we are, as the name suggests, very comfortable. We're not experiencing any discomfort, pain, or fear, and we are avoiding pain. And that's a problem, because most of the things that have any real value in life are painful or scary to get or become. So what I draw in the book is this wall of pain, of fear, of discomfort. And what happens when we almost leave our comfort zone and experience that pain is, we go straight back into the comfort zone. And this ultimately makes our lives really small, and at the end of our lives, on our deathbeds, we will pretty much look back at our lives with helpless regret at a life we have wasted. Not a pretty image. So, unfortunately for us, they have developed a tool which is called reversal of desire. And what this helps us do is connect to the higher force of forward motion, which allows us to reverse the desire, so we don't desire pleasure, but we desire pain and fear, which is a good thing. If you have to take action, that's important to you. And by the way, all of the tools have their own higher forces that you are connected to. That gives you a lot more power than you as an individual. And again, this is force of forward motion. So what happens when you say use the tool is you burst through this pain with the force. And at the other side of that, fear, outside of your comfort zone, is endless possibilities. And that's pretty exciting when you think about it. And there are 3 simple steps. And all of these are really visualizing exercises. So you need to check out the book for more on being walked really clearly through all of those. But the first step is basically You imagine the pain and discomfort you'll experience when you need to take action on something that you have been avoiding, and you imagine it as a black cloud or dark cloud in front of you. And then as you move into that cloud, first step is you scream to yourself, bring it on. Then when you stand inside the cloud and become one with the pain, you shout, I love pain. And then as you move out of the cloud and let yourself be propelled into a realm of light, you say, pain sets me free. Bring it on. I love pain. Pain sets me free. I use it dozens of times each day, especially before I take a cold shower. So that helps you burst through out of your comfort zone and tap into your endless possibilities. Reversal of desire. Second tool is active love. Has it ever happened to you that you have someone has angered you, and then you have just been ruminating on it and repeating what they said to you and how they insulted you again and again and again in your head, and you were pretty much stuck doing this, and it felt pretty bad? Well, that means that you have gotten stuck in the maze. You're just repeating what all the wrongs they did to you, or the perceived wrongdoings they have done to you. Maybe they didn't even do something wrong, and you get stuck in the maze. Well, everyone else is moving forward. Or you can choose outflow, which means that you are, you can choose to use active love, where you, very quickly, imagine that your heart is expanding into a liquid of love all around you. Before it contracts again, you have tons of energy in your heart, loving energy. You transmit it to the other person's chest. You don't have to look at their face, since that might make you annoyed. And thirdly, you feel it enter them. All of this love that you're pouring out. And this helps you tap into the force of outflow, which is the force that accepts everything as it is, accepts everyone as who they are. And that's basically active love. It helps you get out of the maze of repeating wrongdoings other people have done to you. Pretty helpful one. Third big idea is inner authority, the third tool. So Phil and Barry say that all of us have a shadow. That's the embodiment of all that we are, all of our negative qualities. And most of us are pretty ashamed of those qualities, meaning that we are not able to express ourselves fully because we want to hide that shadow away and we start worrying about whether people are seeing our negative traits or not, and that's kind of blocks us from being who we really are. So what the tool really does is you give this shadow, this part of the embodiment of all the negative qualities, a form. So mine is the 10-year-old me when I was worried or ashamed about myself for weighing more than most of my friends, and that can make a small child pretty insecure. So for whatever this is for you, first step to using the tool is imagine the shadow standing beside you. Mine is standing right beside me right now, so I can express myself fully to you. And then you look and focus all of your attention on your shadow. And by the way, you use this tool whenever you have a performance anxiety, or before you are going to meet someone in a social situation, meet a person or meet a crowd, you're public speaking, you're going to have a phone call, and you might feel insecure. You imagine the shadow, but focus all your attention on the shadow and not the person that you imagine is in front of you and judging you and throwing all these harsh criticisms. And then you bond with your shadow. Together you are fearless, you have an indestructible bond. And then you imagine that you forcefully turn toward the audience, the person or people in front of you, as you silently but firmly say, listen. You command them to listen. And The idea here is that that will help you to express yourself more fully, genuinely, and express your needs and wants clearly to the other people, instead of getting all frozen. So this is you and your shadow standing together, and instead of being this huge, scary monster, other people become these smaller. It's like smaller children. They are not very frightening. So let's move on. For fourth big idea is grateful flow. And by the way, the force you're tapping into through inner authority is the force of self-expression, naturally, to express yourself fully. Fourth big idea, grateful flow. Have you ever been thinking a negative thought, where you have worried or about the future, or ruminated on the past, or been discontent in the present, and felt as like there was a black cloud over your life, just pushing you down? And that's not, of course, yeah, and that's not a very good place to be in. And the tool they help us use to let go of all that worry, anxiety, and discontent and rumination is grateful flow. And you use it by stating 5 of the things you are grateful for out loud, slowly enough so you can say them. And for each of them, you feel into your gratitude, especially for things that you might take for granted. And after about 30 seconds, you feel into the physical sensations of how grateful you are. And eventually, you will feel a presence approaching you, this powerful presence. And that's when you have connected to the force, higher force of the source. Well, I noticed that my camera stopped recording after a while, so here we are to continue. When you connect to the source, it's like you are bursting through the negative clouds and are thereby able to see beyond your worries, your ruminations, and your discontent. And you using this by through, and here's the source, like the sun here. And this is the presence that you feel approaching you whenever you use the tool. And this is a really good one to use whenever you feel that ick come up of worrying about anything, or you have negative thinking. Because the problem is really that we think that negative thinking can help us control the universe, but it can't. And therefore, we can change it into more positive thinking through a specific tool. Well, the 5th big idea is jeopardy. And this is quite a fascinating one, because what Phil and Barry noticed after they had helped dozens and dozens of maybe thousands of patients apply the tools to their lives, they noticed that almost all of them would achieve extraordinary results in their lives. And they would move much better forward, and they would live much more happily, affect those around them powerfully, and achieve heights they had never achieved before. But then eventually, pretty much all of them would stop using the tools, and therefore revert back into their old habits and drop back to the level they were at before they connected to these higher forces. So therefore, Barry and Phil had to develop a 5th tool, which is jeopardy. Jeopardy is supposed to be used whenever you know you need to use a tool but can't get yourself to use one, or when you feel that you have grown beyond the need to use the tools, which we all might feel at times. And the jeopardy is, I'll give you a pretty quick illustration. Time is limited, and every single moment is precious. Alright, so I recorded the end of the video 3 more times and discovered that the camera was interrupted by Siri all the times. So now let's wrap this up quickly. Quick illustration of jeopardy. You imagine your deathbed self, the wiser part of you that knows how precious every single moment is. It rouses itself out of bed and screams at you, don't waste the present moment. This creates a deep urgency in your life and gives you the willpower you need to use a tool immediately. You have to use the tool immediately. So jeopardy connects you to willpower. Grateful flow connects you to the higher force of the source. Inner authority to self-expression. Active love to outflow. Accept everyone who they are, no matter what they have done to you. And reversal of desire to force a forward motion. And that's a quick look at the tools. But Phil Stutz and Barry Michels. I can't recommend it enough. Thank you very much, Phil and Barry, for writing the book. I am making it a habit in my life. For now, what's the one idea that jumped out at you? And what can you do to apply it more consistently in your life starting today? Get on that. Our next book will be The Motivation Manifesto by Brendan Burchard. For now, thanks for watching. Have another awesome day, and let's actualize so we can share our most authentic selves in heroic service to the world. See ya.
Hi, this is Frode. You might know me from the work I do on YouTube, but I also want to tell you that you can gain access to a ton of more wisdom at my website, Actualizer.me. And here, I focus all of my energies on answering the question, how can I help you actualize your life on a day-to-day basis? Because I know that even though you want to actualize your life and develop yourself, you're too busy to read all day. And that's why I'm all about sharing wisdom made practical. Fun, inspiring, and practical wisdom you can apply to your life immediately. And I do it through something I call Actualize Notes, which include big ideas from 100 plus of the best and most transformative books on optimal living. It's notes from a fellow actualizer who wants to embody and help you embody these ideas more consistently in your life. And these actualized notes include 100 plus practical PDFs, which is 6-page PDFs with condensed wisdom ready for use. These are recorded into 100 plus MP3 guides, because all ANs are recorded as MP3 so you can actualize on the go. I also create 10 to 20 minute ANTV episodes, which I upload on YouTube. And these are again converted into MP3 files, so you can get access to them on the Actualize podcast. And all this work includes over 750 big ideas from ancient philosophers, modern scientists, and your own common sense, explained for easy use. You can gain instant access at my website, Actualizer.me, and you can get a free 30-day trial, and then it will be $10 per month. You can cancel it whenever you want, and I price the membership program so low, so you can tap into practical wisdom no matter how you're standing financially. Alright, I hope you'll join me on this hero's journey of actualizing our potential. See ya.